Okay, so y'all remember your medallions. I added a little trees down at the bottom and put them on these bases so that we can make molds around them out of a special material called investment. So now we put those guys into what we call flasks, and then we're going to fill them up with investment material, which is plaster of Paris and a really fine sand. And then we're going to put them in the oven and melt the wax out of them, and that'll leave us a space to pour the metal. So the investment comes as a powder. You have to mix it with water. We have to measure it with a scale and get the ingredients right. So I'm gonna take those and mix them up, and then we'll pour one here, and then we'll do it again and pour the second one because it has to be really precise. Go ahead and mix that in a few minutes. Once that's mixed, we put it in our vacuum chamber. And that's going to pull the air out of our mixture before we pour it. That helps us get a better casting. You can see the bubbles coming up out of there. Bring it up to a boil. What they call a boil anyway. Now we're going to pour the first one in there. And try and fill up all the way around that sculpture, all the way to the top. That was almost perfect. We got a little bit left over. Now we're going back to the vacuum table. Kind of have to work fast because this stuff sets up pretty quickly. And then we vacuum it again. Okay, so I did the same thing on the second flask. Now we're vacuuming that one out, getting all the bubbles out of it. So we'll let those sit up for a little while, and we'll take the tape and the bottoms off of them and get as much wax out of there as possible, and then we'll burn the rest of the wax out. And what that'll leave is a hole where the wax was, and that's where we're going to pour the metal, and the metal will take the place of the wax, and it'll make a metal piece that looks exactly like the waxes did. Okay, this is my melting furnace. This is what's going to melt my metal. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting some bronze down there in our crucible. That's the pot that holds the metal when it gets melted. So I'm taking my bronze and I'm putting it down in there. I've got to cut that one into a smaller piece so it'll fit. The bronze, here's another piece of bronze. The bronze, that's left over from some of the things I cast for Christmas. Bronze is made up of primarily copper. There's some copper tubing, a little bit of zinc. So we'll go ahead and throw that down in there too. And that'll melt down into a nice bronze. That might actually be enough for what we're going to pour today. So there we go. Okay, we'll start that up. Get it rolling. And There we go. 1200 degrees Celsius is what it's set to. And that'll be ready in about 30 minutes. Okay, the molds are in our furnace here. I'm gonna open it and show you right quick. They're in there. The wax has been burned out. They're ready to go. And it's holding at about 800 degrees. It'll ramp back up to about 800. But it lost a little bit of temperature when we opened the door. And we'll take this, we'll take the molds from this furnace right here and we'll carry them over to our casting station over here, and we'll pour them as soon as that gets up to 1200 degrees Celsius. Okay, we're gonna check our metal here in a second. It is at 1170 right now-ish, 1193. That should be ready to go. It's been sitting for a little bit. So I'm gonna check it and then we'll cast. Okay, so here's the second mold. Not sure whose that one is, but we're gonna go ahead and cast it. There we go. That's how that's supposed to go. It's got a vacuum going on it. Hopefully this one will cast a little bit better. Okay, started with a graphite rod. Here we go. Pour the rest into an ingot mold, a preheated ingot mold. We'll let this sucker cool down. Okay, while that other one cools, this one's cool enough that we can bring it over and quench it. Now that stuff, it's still screaming hot. What we're gonna do, quench it in water, and that's going to pop all of that plaster of Paris investment out of there. And it's going to cool our sculpture. Let that cool down in there a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's down in the bottom, still cooling. Come on. It should be cool enough to get, yep, I can feel it, it's still cool. Okay, there's the mold. You just let the sculpture part come out. Oh, and I found it. Here it is. Okay, so there's the bronze part. We still have some more investment to clean off of there. What that looks like. It did a good casting. We'll clean that with a wire brush and see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to do the next one now. We're going to go ahead and quench it. Okay. All right, there's the one. There's the other one. And there's the casting. All right. Looks like it did pretty good too. Okay. We'll have to put it on the wire wheel and see how that finish came out. See if it did okay. All right. Okay, so in order to cut the sprue lines off, we're going to use my little tool with the saw on it. There we go. Now we clean that up right quick, and that'll be good to go. We'll throw that back in and melt it again. And that kind of cleaned up around the edge now. And then we'll polish it. Okay, and there's the finished deals. That's Leilani and Jack's medallions that they made. There we go. Ready to go.